The Lombardi Trophy returning to the city of brotherly love. The Eagles winning Super Bowl 59.
Go Birds.
Go Birds. May not have gotten the prediction right, but can't be sad when the Birds win the Super Bowl. But regardless, out of this game came two very different quarterback conversations. Mahomes seemingly fell out of the GOAT conversation, or people are doubting if he can even return to it. And meanwhile, Jalen Hurts is being showered with praise and apologies left and right. So, Steve, after watching this big game on Sunday, has your opinion on either quarterback really changed after what you saw?
So, Cam, I'm going to focus solely on Mahomes here, and I'm going to let you kind of handle, as the resident Eagles fan, handle the Jalen Hurts side of things.
Okay,
right?
I could, yeah.
My view of Patrick Mahomes has not changed one iota after this game. Let me break a few things down for you guys. In Patrick Mahomes' first 8 seasons, he has made 5 Super Bowls. 5 Super Bowls he has made in 8 years. He has a 3-2 record in the Super Bowl. Now, everybody's making a big deal about how he played in this last Super Bowl, and it was a bad performance, and blah, 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 blah. Listen, let me explain something to you guys. I'm going to read 2 set of statistics to you both, and I want you to tell me if they're both pretty comparable. For player A, 266 yards passing, 1 touchdown, no picks, sacked 5 times for 67 yards. Player B, 245 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 picks, and sacked 6 times for 70-plus yards. Out of those 2 guys, which one are you probably going to lean on a little more? Player A is Tom Brady in his 4th Super Bowl when they lost. And player B is Patrick Mahomes in this most recent Super Bowl on Sunday when they lost. Tom Brady, after winning his 3rd Super Bowl, didn't win another Super Bowl for 10 years, 2004 to 2014. So if you're asking me if one loss in this Super Bowl to the Birds, where, yep, they got dominated, but let me ask you a question. Are you going to take one loss in a guy's career and just say, nope, all of a sudden, he is not what we thought he was anymore? Well, if we're going to be fair to each other, simply one loss in this Super Bowl does not mean that he is still not the greatest quarterback of all time, because even Brady lost 3 separate times. I think getting to that 3rd Super Bowl, which is something no other team had ever done before, is enough to still have the conversation. So, Cam, no, my belief and view of Patrick Mahomes has not changed one iota.
Yeah, mine hasn't either. I agree that after this game, it is not like inarguable. It's not unequivocal. It's not just Mahomes. There is still clearly an argument to be had or made. If someone comes to me and says Mahomes or Brady, I am not going to get mad at them for either one. But it is not as drastic of a fall as people are making it seem to be. You can have, well, I mean, look at LeBron in 2011. You can clearly have a slip up and still be considered the greatest.
Yeah, and like we've also always said, we can't just have recency bias.
Right.
We can't just say because of this loss, maybe it doesn't solidify him as we said it would in the last video if they did win, but the conversation is still there. Fox Sports, shame on you for that graphic that you put out with Mahomes back under Montana and Peyton Manning. Shame on you for that. Don't punish him just because he lost 1 Super Bowl.
It's not good. It's not fair at all. And speaking of not fair, I have not been fair to Jalen Hurts.
Oh.
And Steve, not even just this season or doing this show, but the last couple years, just from us talking, I have been a Jalen Hurts skeptic, but also a big Jalen Hurts lover. Like, so I have gone the 2 different extremes.
True Birds fashion. In true Birds.
Yeah, correct. And I want to first of all apologize and explain my thoughts on Jalen Hurts. So, first of all, Jalen Hurts, this is to you. I am sorry. I doubted your ability in the Super Bowl. I questioned your ability for the last 2 years. That was wrong of me, and it will not happen again. And let me tell you why, and the folks about why. So let's just go back through the history of Jalen Hurts' Eagles tenure. So 2020, he's backing up Carson Wentz. The Eagles had 4 wins the whole season. We as in Eagles fans were just we were moving on from Carson Wentz. He didn't have it anymore. His MVP status was gone, or almost MVP status was gone. And we were just ready to look to the future and this young quarterback we have in Jalen Hurts. 2021, his first year as a starter. He is labeled as a, say, work in progress. Jalen Hurts struggled against good defenses. He didn't really seem like he had the greatest arm. He wasn't really exhibiting a lot of starter qualities. So I was kind of looking at him kind of like I looked at Tua when he was drafted. Not a great arm. It's not like he's going to be killing you with these deep passes. Can he be an okay starter? Sure. I don't expect him to be prolific. I had a lot of doubts with him coming into the league. 2022 happens, and that is obviously the Super Bowl year. He's a top 3 to 5 quarterback in the league. He finished second in MVP voting, and we were like, yo, Jalen Hurts is a franchise quarterback. We finally have our guy. He's doing all this stuff. He just may have lost to Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs or in the Super Bowl, but some say he outdueled him. We had all kind of been like, okay, Jalen Hurts is here. He has arrived. He is our starter. He's our quarterback. And there was not a lot of conversation amongst other people of if that was validated or not, or if we should feel that way. It was just, yeah, he played that great. He's that guy. Then next year happens, and it's the funk year. We start off 10-1, finish 1-5 at the end of the season. Bottom 3, possibly bottom 2 defense in the league. Jalen Hurts had a regression year, and it seemed like we were almost back to square one with him. I try very hard to not let my bias intrude my takes. So I was afraid that the season before, when I had been saying he is the second best quarterback alive, without question, I was afraid that I was letting my Eagles bias show. So I was like, okay, 21, he's 22, he's amazing. 23, he's I'm going to take that because that's what I saw. That's what I first believed. And there was more. That season seemed like the outlier after this season. We then come into this season. Same Jalen Hurts. He's not playing terrible, but he's not playing absolutely fantastic. But we have Saquon Barkley. We clearly, obviously, have the fantastic season. We go to the Super Bowl. He does what he does. But Jalen Hurts this season, up until the Super Bowl, like I had said when we were in the conference championship, I don't expect Jalen Hurts to do something I had not seen this entire last 2 seasons. Why would I expect it now? Jalen Hurts has one of the rare attributes and traits in athletes that he can turn it on and off. So in 2022, before Saquon Barkley got there, and we had just had the failure season before, Jalen Hurts said, I need to be great. I need to be the hero. I need to have this team. I need to propel this team to wins. That's what I have to do. That's what I'm going to do. That's what he did the whole season. 23, funk year. 24, we assume it's a funk year. But what actually happened, I believe, is Saquon Barkley came in, has a generational year, is the best running back by far, is one of the best players in the league by far. And Jalen saw this and said, okay, I can do what I've been doing to start the season and do average, mediocre numbers. Saquon can lead the team and we can still win because it's about the team. It's about us. It's about the plan, the vision. He then takes that attitude the whole season, and we mistake it as Jalen Hurts doesn't have it. It's not that he didn't have it. He wasn't using it. In his 2 Super Bowl appearances, 65% completion percentage, 262 yards, 70 rushing yards. These are all averages. 1 touchdown and 2 rushing touchdowns per Super Bowl. Saquon wasn't having it. The Chiefs clearly sold out on stopping him. And Jalen said, this is where I can come in, and this is where I'm needed. This is what I have to do. And he did. Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar, even Joe Burrow. It's on them. It's on their shoulders. They have to be the guy. Quarterbacks in general feel like they have to be the guy. But because the Eagles have so many weapons, and because Jalen Hurts is such a great leader and such a unique athletic talent, he can allow his supreme quarterback play to take a back seat for the benefit of the team. And like I said, we mistook that as, oh, Jalen Hurts never had it. So no, Jalen Hurts has it in his back pocket. And for the the misdirected comments about his play, Jalen Hurts and the Eagles. My apologies.
I've been telling you for a long time, Jalen Hurts was deserving of the big contract that Philly signed him to. It was a very Philly thing of them to do. Clearly, the ownership and Howie Roseman saw something in him that made them feel like he deserved that contract. And those leadership qualities that we've talked about that he has, because he has command of that locker room.
Yeah.
A lot of the players have come out and said that he controls that locker room. He has a voice, and it's very loud in there. What you don't see maybe in his statistics are what he shows in the locker room and in those moments where he knows he needs to be the leader. And it's not that he's never not the leader. He just knows when it's time to take a back seat, like you said. So, Jalen Hurts, to me, is a franchise quarterback. Jalen Hurts, to me, shows a lot of Jimmy Butler-ness and playoff Jimmy, right? When you need to rise to a certain level at a certain occasion for your team, you find a way to do that. And what better for your franchise? You have two franchises in your personal life that have had two leaders that have been able to do that. And how cool has that been to watch for you?
And we have said with the Jimmy Butler comparison that, I mean, obviously not this season, but when that was still around, that's such an invaluable thing to have. And like I said, it is so rare and not a common thing. I mean, look at Embiid. Embiid is the opposite, where he is such a massive talent in the regular season and in general, but then when it comes time, he never has what it takes. Yep. So for Jalen Hurts to be, I would say, prime peak Embiid is higher in the NBA hierarchy than a prime healthy Jalen Hurts in the NFL hierarchy. But Jalen Hurts plays so much at a higher level in the postseason that it's incomparable. Listen to the sound. I listen to the sound.